In today's connected business world, that old saying, "the customer is always right," is more right than ever before. It's easy for a business to invite customer feedback, but it takes a secure, connected enterprise to process that information and ensure it reaches the entire operation. So what does it mean to be a connected enterprise exactly? A connected enterprise means sharing similar goals, reducing silos, and learning from combined data. It means optimizing this data intuitively and prioritizing a shift of focus into evolving from feedback. And the contact center is at the core of this shift. A connected enterprise will help your teams better understand data received by your contact center. From marketing learnings to billing and finance insights to HR, IT, and beyond, every last corner of your operation will benefit. Businesses on the leading edge are putting their contact centers at the forefront of not just talking about customer data, but operationalizing it. More and more enterprises are tapping into the ever-changing expectations of modern consumers and to adapt accordingly. The contact center is where insights, data, and general customer opinions come together. It's a lot to process, but Calabrio One makes it easier than ever for contact centers to assess all of this critical information and more. Just yesterday, organizing consumer data was a daunting task. Today, it couldn't be simpler, thanks to the smartest customer experience solution contact centers have ever seen. Connect your enterprise today with Calabrio One.
Hello, everyone. Thanks for attending our session. I'm super excited to be part of this event and talking about such an exciting topic, how we can use artificial intelligence to drive better customer experiences. And honestly, as we all know, this is something we've been talking about for years. And within the past few years, we're really starting to see the technology realize its full potential. I love the statement on this slide. The keys to outstanding experiences are hidden in the contact center. That statement couldn't be truer. When you think about it, there is a wealth of valuable customer information in all the interactions, all the calls, the chats, the emails, the text, social media, etc., that are coming into the contact center. And without some sort of automated tool, companies, they're only able to see about 2% of those customer interactions, to see and review, about 2% of those customer interactions. And that is considered an industry standard, but there are people that they feel that even that number is inflated. And even the 2% of those interactions that can be reviewed, it's typically done for random quality checks, which means that even those interactions that are reviewed, they're not always the most relevant. So, and obviously 2%, that's a tiny fraction of the interactions that are coming into the contact center. So that means that 98% of the valuable intelligence that is available in the contact center, it goes untapped, and it's not driving any business value. And that means that companies, they're making those critical business decisions on just a fraction of the information coming into their contact center. And that's where tools like analytics, and in particular to this conversation, things like artificial intelligence can come into play. So we all know that channels of communication and channels of data that we get from customers, that's just going to continue to increase. We have devices with internet access built into them. That's essentially everywhere. Alexa is everywhere. So, and these are all key channels of data. So it really becomes even more important that we have tools on top of this data that will allow us to truly understand what's happening within the contact center. So I'm going to break this down a little bit, and I'll give you some examples of how artificial intelligence and machine learning, how it's used to provide predictive and prescriptive analytics that can really help a contact center start to take proactive instead of reactive measures, and be able to perform things like targeted quality scoring instead of random analysis, and help to spot agent performance and customer satisfaction trends without having to look for them. They'll be spotted automatically. So to give you an example of machine learning technology, I'm going to speak from the context of the product that I'm familiar with, which is obviously the Calabrio product. And one of the key technologies that we use machine learning for is our predictive capability. So specifically around predictive evaluations and predictive NPS, predictive Net Promoter Score. The way this works, we use our source data, which would be recorded interactions, and we're going to combine that with all of the metadata that we have around those interactions. And that includes metadata from the ACD, from the CRM, any other sources that we might be incorporating into that contact. And then we layer that with the analytics data that we have, including speech analytics, text analytics, desktop analytics, things like talk over events, silence during the interaction, et cetera. And so we're taking all of this data that we have in regards to contacts, and we're correlating that with an evaluation score. And so now we know what are all of the things that, for example, a high scoring contacts have in common, and what are all of the things that low scoring contacts have in common, and everything in between. And then we're able to use that, we're able to extrapolate out for 100% of our contacts what a predicted evaluation score would be. Or, for example, if this is with surveys for predictive Net Promoter Scores. So if it's survey data with an NPS question, we do the same thing. And so we're able to take a small sample of manually surveyed contacts and use that to correlate what high scoring contacts and low scoring contacts all have in common. And then use that to extrapolate out to 100% of our contacts what a predicted promoter score would be. So again, if a contact center is lucky, they can manually review about 2% of their interactions. And then we're able to take that 2%, and by applying machine learning concepts, we're able to extrapolate that 2% of evaluations or 2% of survey data across 100% of interactions. And then now the contact center, they really have a more holistic, more complete picture of how it's performing overall. So that's one example of machine learning technology and how it works. And then another example of AI in the contact center, and this also leverages machine learning, is sentiment analysis. So here we are trying to recreate the thought processes that a human might go through. And that's using an algorithm for concepts like emotion or sentiment detection. And obviously that's a much more complex question. How is the caller feeling about this interaction? What is the sentiment? Is this a positive interaction, a negative interaction, or is it a neutral interaction? Is there anger being displayed? What are the different cues that the AI engine can pick up on in order to give us an idea of the emotional content or the sentiment of what that particular contact might be? And again, this is an extremely powerful tool that allows us to really understand one of the most important questions that we have to ask, honestly, as customer service professionals. Are we delighting our customers? That should be a question we're asking ourselves every day. Again, are we delighting our customers? And emotion detection and sentiment analysis helps us to get there. So now we take these tools, we take artificial intelligence and machine learning, and we expand them into the realm of predictive and, more importantly, prescriptive analytics. So with predictive and prescriptive analytics, this actually takes the information and it layers on an additional ability to help identify potential problems that you might not have been aware of, and then to prescribe potential solutions for that problem. So one example that I'll provide, and there's obviously many potential solutions to the problem, but one example or one solution that's top of mind for Calabrio is around the idea of using predictive and prescriptive analytics in the workforce management, so in the scheduling world. scheduling of agents, and combining that with data that we have with our analytics system. So for example, perhaps our analytics system, our speech analytics, desktop, and text analytics, it's picking up an emerging customer issue. Maybe customers they're calling in and complaining about a particular issue. And we know that a similar issue happened 6 months ago. And the last time this happened, our call volumes, they jumped up, they surged to a particular, very high level, to a particular level. So we can now predict what's going to happen in the future based on what's happened historically. And then we can apply our AI-fueled agent self-scheduling application and to talk to our agents and reach out proactively and make suggestions to agents, maybe offer overtime or time off, whatever is needed to adjust those schedules automatically and to modify them automatically. So this is identifying an actual problem that the contact center might have, that they might not have been aware of, and then automatically applying a solution to address it. So again, we're talking about supercharging the contact center with artificial intelligence, and these are just some of the types of solutions that are already available today. So now let's talk a little bit about some of the future trends and how these things apply. I think that we all know that the contact center standards, they're continually going up. And in order to meet our customers' needs, we have to identify their needs before they become a problem, and then implement solutions before customers, before they even notice that problem existed, and then we just fix it. That's where the standards are going if they're not already there today. That's the expectation that our customers have. So we need to work to do that. But we also need to look beyond the contact center. And when we look at tools like analytics and the capabilities we have for analytics, we realize that there's data it's tremendously valuable to the entire organization, not just the contact center. So we can take that data, we can share it more widely with the rest of the organization. And obviously that's going to apply a multiplier effect to the value of the data that we have within our system. And this is becoming more and more common. We're seeing executives and other groups within the organization reaching out and looking for help to better understand the customer and really leveraging the true voice of the customer data that can only be found in the contact center. And then when we look at who benefits from AI-fueled analytics, again, it goes beyond just what the contact center supervisors are looking at, like traditionally first call resolution, targeted quality monitoring, and those types of things. Think about the contact center analysts. Their bread and butter is trying to identify issues before they become a problem, and AI-fueled analytics helps to solve those issues. And then again, when we look outside the contact center, so from a finance perspective, making sure that we're in compliance with all of the different regulations and requirements around things like payment processing and data privacy. Those are really, they're very important, and another area where analytics plays a role. And then another department seeing some of the biggest benefits of contact center analytics is marketing. Marketing wants to ensure that there's an emotional connection with the customer, that we're driving some sort of emotional response, and hopefully it's a positive one. So for marketers, the customers are telling us, how they feel about our brand every single day in virtually every interaction that we have with them. So let's use analytics to uncover that data and to help determine things like, the impact of ad campaigns and promotions, and what are measuring competitive feedback and correlating product lines with customer sentiment and more. So hopefully that helps paint a picture on how artificial intelligence can be used to help the organization and the contact center provide exceptional customer experience. So with that, I thank you, and Bob, I will turn it back to you.